I'm here with John Boville, Group IT Director of Aurora Fashions. Hi John, thanks very much for joining us today. Could you give a brief introduction as to Aurora Fashions?
Yep. Well, firstly, thanks for inviting me. Aurora Fashions, we're a women's wear retailer. We trade in 1,486 stores across 48 countries. Our turnover is approximately £700 million. And we incorporate four brands, core brands, one being Oasis, second one being Warehouse, Karen Millen and Coast. And we're developing a smaller brand, a very niche brand called Bastion. All of our brands trade, as I said, through our stores. We also trade via e-commerce, which at the moment is approximately 10% of our total turnover. And we also trade internationally, both through a franchise model, license model, and our solely owned stores.
What's your perspective on the general condition of the retail market currently in the UK?
Tough. I mean, external factors predominantly driving it. I'm referring specifically to UK markets, because as I said before, we trade in 48 countries. It's talking specifically about the UK, which is still our core market. It's predominantly a market share game. It's a very mature, it's a very fragmented market, but probably more relevant to what we're discussing, there's increasing channels to market. And what the key challenge to retailers is making sure that wherever our customer is touching our brands, they're getting a consistent experience. What is very clear is where there are retailers out there who just have a single channel to market, I would argue that's dying. And you really do need to develop a multi-channel model in order to compete in, as I said, what is a very, very competitive market.
Right. So given that context, what is then the potential or the challenges of mobile commerce?
I think the main, if you think about our business model is relatively simple. We are a fashion retailer, and I'm talking from a fashion retailer's perspective. It's about delighting our customers. It's about the customer experience. Going back to what we were discussing just a moment ago, you've got these multiple channels to market. What you're seeing within customer behaviour, and particularly where the customers are interacting with the various channels to market, is their behaviour is changing. And I think what the challenge is from a mobile perspective is to making sure that whatever you're delivering from a customer experience perspective is obviously relevant to your customer, it's fit for purpose from a customer interaction perspective, but also it aligns with what your brand values are and what's appropriate and fit for purpose for your brand. So it's not necessarily a one-size-fits-all model. It's got to be very much tailored to the individual customer experience and obviously what your brand strategic direction is as well. So it's really a mixture of both of those. I think that's where the winners will come out of this current transition that we're going through with regards to adoption of consumer-facing technologies like mobile.
And what are the, say, top three trends in mobile commerce that you're seeing right now?
If I see it from, I talk from a Aurora perspective here, but I think it's quite general within the fashion space, and obviously again just referring to the area that we're discussing here, and I'm an expert on. Well, I think in the short term, what we're seeing a lot more of is the online world, e-commerce world, that's being transferred into the offline world in our stores. Now, our product is exclusive to our brands, so we're not like an electricals retailer that sells branded goods like Sony in our stores. You can do price comparison, etc. So we don't have those sorts of challenges with people doing price lookups and things like that. So we don't get those sorts of challenges. But what we are seeing certainly is as our customers are coming into our stores, they're expecting the same sort of experience they're getting from an e-commerce world, speed of availability, for instance, of the brands and stock, and access to service within our stores. So they're becoming much more impatient when they're coming into our stores and expecting, as I said, that online behaviours transferring to offline behaviour. So we're seeing some mobile interaction happening. As I said, not like the electronics retailers price comparison, but you're seeing some lookups around what our competitors may be doing with regards to certain styles and pricing, etc. I think what it's moving more towards is tablets. We've been trialling tablets in our stores purely from an internet access perspective and an extended aisle perspective within our stores. Only been trying it in a few stores in a couple of our brands, been running that for about 6 months. But I think increasingly what you're going to be seeing in the fashion space is more of an adoption of tablets within the within the store environment, the bricks and mortar environment. And what that's about is customer intimacy of the customer and wardrobe building with the customer. So you're going to see a lot more of that type of activity. Secondly, what you're then going to be seeing, as more smartphones come into the market, more NFC devices are going to be launched and come into the market, what you're increasingly seeing is customers performing those transactions on their mobile phones. We've had an iPhone app for the last 18 months, so we're already working in those in that space. However, increasingly, I'm thinking you're going to be seeing those customers performing those types of transactions in stores when they get these smarter devices and they become more proliferated within the marketplace.
So what's your priority now for taking forward your mobile engagement strategy?
In the simplest form, what's relevant to our customer and our brands, going back to my earlier point. So just to be absolutely clear, it's got to be what's relevant to your brand and increasing driving competitive advantage in the marketplace. But for us, it's going back to that point I was talking about around personalisation of the customer experience. When you're coming into our stores, it's making sure that we're providing that customer intimacy and added value when they come into our stores, this bricks and mortar stores I'm referring to here. So this tablet trial I was talking about before, making that smarter, so putting more applications in those tablet devices, like a mobile till, the access to the internet sites, your CRM database. So we're building that relationship with the customers in our stores and building the wardrobe and driving incremental sales. So you're going to see a lot more activity around that space. Mobile phones, we've been live, as I said just a minute ago, with iPhone apps for quite a while, launching that across more platforms, Android, etc. But as the customers, so launching that, or launching more services on those apps. So we've had a mobile gift voucher, for instance, being live for a while, driving that increasingly towards loyalty. And as I said before, once you get more and more smartphones coming into the market, then you see transactions being placed on those mobile phones as customers come into our stores or via our own store teams. So the tablet, then increasingly adding services onto our mobile phone apps that we've launched into the market.
And what are the solutions that you're seeking in order to deliver these initiatives?
When you say solutions to deliver the initiative, as in the end solutions, or
Exactly.
Well, I think it's really going back to the consumerism of IT. You know, if we're talking specifically here about technology, and when you're looking for solutions, it's making sure that those solutions ultimately are fit for purpose, and that from a store perspective. Because remember, we have got 1,486 stores here. Our store teams are incredibly important to us, and the bulk of our sales are still coming through our bricks and mortar stores. There are big challenges here around the people within our stores and making sure that they themselves are empowered and enabled to make best use of these mobile devices in stores and that customer interaction. The third problem, so firstly is around user interface and design of the solutions themselves, make sure they're fit for purpose. The second one is make sure we've got the process and the people within our stores to be able to interact with our customers and drive advantage from these mobile interactions. The third point is around stock. So all of this has an impact on your supply chain and how you manage your stock in this multi-channel world. And there's going to have to be increasingly investment in your supply chain systems to be able to cope with the complexity of multiple channels to market.
So finally, what would you say were the top 3 challenges to achieving these goals?
Yep, I'd say the top 3 challenges to the goals would predominantly be around 3 areas. First one is around the systems. Make sure you developed the right solutions, system solutions that in essence are fit for purpose and appropriate for customer interaction. One of the key factors there, and one thing we can never forget, is that we are well-known brands. When a customer interacts with us, there's an element of brand equity there, and we need to make sure that we treat our customers with the respect as far as data security is concerned very seriously and take that obligation extremely seriously. So underlying everything we're discussing around mobility and increasing channels to markets, you cannot underestimate the importance of making sure you maintain security, both from a deployment of your network services and also how you protect that data, your customer data, as they're interacting with our brands. So there's a lot of work around system design, user interface, but also around data security and robustness there. The second one is around process. You know, when you're operating in a multi-channel world, you're bringing together a lot of functions within your business. You're bringing together your retail operations functions, your e-commerce functions, your technical functions, supply chain functions, your marketing functions. What's really fundamental across all of these functions in the business is that you've got this consistent message and consistent experience coming across. So it has to be lined up thinking. Clear strategy, clear vision and execution is absolutely critical. So we talked about the systems piece, talked about people piece, and lastly process. Process underpins all of this. You know, It's got to make sure when you're delivering this consistency across all these channels, you've got clear process there to make sure it's sustainable as you scale it up, and also to make sure that you build robustness across all of these processes, and at no point do you ever disappoint your customer.
That's great. Well, thank you very much, John, for your insight. It's been a very interesting conversation, and thank you for speaking with me.
Thank you, Zoe. It's been a pleasure.